flag-off of the $10 billion Nigeria liquefied natural gas Train 7 project has been described as a major boost to Nigeria's capacity to process its abundant gas deposits to about 30 million metric tons annually. This initiative by the Buhari-led administration will boost Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings, create thousands of jobs, and diversify the country's economy. Today on Panorama, how to sustain efforts at boosting the development of Nigeria's abundant gas resources and strengthen the gas value chain will form our discuss on Panorama from Port Harcourt Network Center. I am Jenny Bassi. You're welcome. Nigeria and the Republic of Benin have resolved to collaborate more effectively towards ensuring that all irritants in the relationship between the two countries are addressed in the interest of the people and economies. This was when President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to his Beninian counterpart, President Patrice Talon, on the sidelines of the ECOWAS Leaders Summit in Accra, Ghana. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The high-level engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Beninoa leader, Patrice Talon, is in furtherance of efforts at deepening and expanding the relations between Nigeria and Benin Republic. The relations between the two countries was recently dampened following the partial closure of Nigeria's land borders due to security concerns. The two leaders are now determined to ensure that such unhealthy relations are never experienced between the two countries and therefore resolve to address once and for all issues relating to security, illicit transfer of small arms and light weapons, as well as smuggling of food items, especially rice.
They really want to take measures to ensure that there are never ever again any irritants in the relationship between the two countries. So the process is almost done, but they want it to be done while they are both still in office, and they believe that this will be a real achievement. And notwithstanding those who might not want the relationship between the two countries to be good, that if they take all these definitive steps, that it will be irreversible, and that nothing will again affect the good relations and neighborliness of the two countries.
Both President Muhammadu Buhari and Patrice Talon of the Republic of Benin noted with satisfaction the ongoing talks between Rice Producers Association of Nigeria and Benin Republic with the objectives of not only sharing knowledge on rice production but also achieving a definitive ban on the import of parboiled rice into Benin and any kind of rice at all into Nigeria. President Buhari wants this cooperation be institutionalized.
And he sort of charged us to quickly prepare all the MOUs and then arrange to come and brief the two presidents and for them to now validate this and institutionalize this. And he also welcomed the cooperation between the rice producers of the two countries and will, and gives it his blessing and will help to push it to the final conclusion where they will now sign an MOU between the two rice producers.
During the high-level engagement, President Patrice Talon solicited Nigeria's support for candidates of Benin Republic vying elective positions in ECOWAS. From Accra, Ghana, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The recent meeting of the Southeast governors, leaders with the delegation from the federal government on critical issues affecting the zone has met again to articulate the demands of the Southeast for presentation to Mr. President. Rising from the strategic meeting in Enugu, the leaders, among other things, called on the leaders of other parts of the country to protect Southeasterners in their land while assuring of the safety of every resident of the Southeast. Susan Eze has the details.
Southeast Stakeholder Strategic Meeting is expected to produce a document which represents the position and demands of the zone in respect to some burning national issues and matters peculiar to the zone.
This meeting set up committees under the Ohanese to articulate and address our position on all burning issues, to further meet among ourselves and thereafter meet with the presidential team. We, the Igbos, do reaffirm our commitment to one united Nigeria under a platform of justice, equality of rights, fairness, love, and respect for one another. We have noted threats by some groups in some other regions against our people of Southeast, while we firmly promise to protect everyone either from our own region or other regions living in our places. We plead with the leaders of other regions to please note the threats to our people and to please address the threats to our people and to protect them. We condemn in totality the activities of violent sensationalist groups in Southeast and elsewhere. We firmly proclaim that we do not support them. They do not speak for Southeast. In order not to mismanage the unfortunate situation we found ourselves, Southeast leaders have set up a committee to engage such youths to stop and allow the elders of Southeast to address their fears. This meeting directed our governors and Ohanes Ndigo to liaise with indigenes from northern part of Nigeria and other indigenes of other regions that are living in Southeast to come out openly and to assure their people and of course the nation Nigeria that they are very safe and well protected while living in Southeast.
Governors of the Southeast Zone, religious and traditional leaders, as well as other critical stakeholders in the zone, were all part of the meeting. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
Well, imams from the 19 northern states and the FCT have converged in Abuja for 2 days to cross-fertilize ideas towards preferring solutions to contemporary social and security challenges in the country. Chairman Committee of FCT Imams Initiative and the lead speaker of the extraordinary conference, Sheikh Tajuddin Mohammed Bello, says imams are partners in nation building and should not be relegated to the background. Abdullahi Ajay has more.
It was a gathering of enlightened minds with a strong representation from the academia and the pulpits, converging for the first time with an intent to reassess and mirror their roles as imams and leaders of thoughts who are always in the vanguard to mold and shape morals. Speakers in the thought-provoking papers took turns to dissect the issues which bordered around unity of imams and restoring the glory of imams and the pulpit in line with the tradition of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This is in addition to reminding the clerics of their God-given roles and qualities of sincerity, generosity, and embodiment of knowledge and humility.
Imams should be role model in terms of showing their followers by practice that they are peacemakers.
Positively engaging incumbent leaders on good governance and supporting their effort towards the attainment of security. Preaching the fear of Allah and inculcating in people values of peaceful coexistence and sacredness of life and properties.
Scholars also identified that imams are key in peace mainstreaming and reorientation of the citizenry in supporting nation building, particularly at this trying time of national challenges, highlighting that the imams represent hope to the common people.
They have played a vital role in seeing that some of the policy of government, particularly as it relates to FCT, is being implemented.
It is about coming together to unite for the benefit of the country in general.
The committee of FCT Imams has been in existence for 17 years and they have made several achievements which are worth sharing with imams of other sections of this country.
What I have learned is the power and the strength that is in unity.
The Deputy Minister represented and the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy commended the Committee of FCT Imams Initiative for organizing the program that is capable of uniting the Ummah and curbing social vices through preaching of the scholars, suggesting the model for all states to emulate. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
Honoring fatherhood, paternal bonds, and the role fathers play in shaping the society is the focus of this year's Father's Day in most churches visited in Port Harcourt. Gabriel Amunike reports that the day is marked on the third Sunday of the month of June.
Father's Day is commemorated in most parts of the world on the third Sunday in June. This year, it is being observed on June 20th, first proposed in the year 1909. The day is aimed at appreciating fathers generally and the role they have played over the years in shaping lives and destinies. However, these roles could have affected their children emotionally, mentally, financially, amongst other roles. Some fathers are of the view that children and wives all over the world should acknowledge roles father figures have played in their lives. Such vital roles, they say, can be emotional, mentally, financially, and cannot be overemphasized.
Mapping out today for fathers is extremely significant because it makes us, feel a bit important.
Because biologically, you see, life begins from the father. Of course, both parents have an equal role to play in nurturing life, but the father originates life according to the other. They should be recognized, not just once in a year, at least maybe twice or three times.
We should, as mothers or as children, as their children, should always celebrate them, not waiting for that particular day that we are calling Father's Day or whatever day we are calling it.
Father's Day celebration emphasizes on the paternal bond, the role of father figure in children's lives, families, and society at large. However, Sonora Smart Dodd is generally credited with the concept of Father's Day. It is said that in 1910, Sonora, the daughter of American Civil War veteran William Jackson Smart, came up with the idea and first celebrated her father in her church. In Port Harcourt, Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
The flag-off of the Nigerian liquefied natural gas Train 7 plant in Bonny, River State has been described as a new template for boosting the country's gas production. This project is expected to enhance the supply of affordable domestic gas in Nigeria. Some River State indigents make these reservations while advising all stakeholders to support the federal government on the smooth implementation of the project. Robinson Darataide has details.
The Nigerian liquefied natural gas Train 7 plant is a $10 billion project. When completed, the plant will boost the nation's liquefied natural gas output by 30 million metric tons annually. The project is strategic to the country's economic stability, youth engagement up to 20,000 direct jobs, as well as expected to cement the peace process in the Niger Delta region.
Jobs will be created, small businesses will be improved upon, and also contracts will also be gotten by people.
We are very much optimistic that will help youth not just in South region, not just in Niger Delta, but the youth of the country at hand.
Keen observers are of the view that the project should enhance the supply of liquefied petroleum gas, otherwise known as domestic gas, and reduce its cost in the Niger Delta region.
Liquefied gas, the domestic gas, the part of it that is called domestic gas, the one that we can use in our houses, from Lagos to Port Harcourt. So this is another aspect of it, which I believe the LNG should give proper attention to.
We should also give room to other Nigerians to also partake if their expertise is needed in whatsoever capacity.
Most of those employment ventures will benefit the youth so much, so greatly. So, and if you don't position yourself and strategize yourself, it means that you're going to lose.
There are indications that NLNG will expand the trains up to 15 in the nearest future for optimal production. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Darataide, NTA News.
To discuss more on this, we have in our studio a business development consultant, Mr. Victor Oraka. Mr. Victor, thank you so much for finding time to come to our studio. Okay, now let's quickly have a brief overview of how Nigeria gas resources can be maximally harnessed.
Okay, first, happy Father's Day to
Happy Father's Day
to all the parents out there and those who accept the responsibility of fatherhood. Thank you for having me here. And the Train 7 project has been on the news recently, obviously. And like you rightly asked, how do we maximally harness the huge potentials of our hydrocarbon resources? First, resources are scarce, of course, so we need to take practical ideas that will deliver bold outcome using the minimum resources. And I also want to align with the position of the present Ministry of the Minister for State for Petroleum Resources, who has declared this year as the decade of gas. And we could see that with the coming of the Train 7 project that was the groundbreaking was done in a couple of days ago, that we are now moving towards where this nation ought to be in terms of developing them. But of all the things we could do with our huge gas reserves, one area that will give us that bold outcome will be in the area of power generation. And as you could see, the same NNPC is championing some of this drive. We could see the AKK project that is designed to transfer gas to the north and to service all the power stations. Hopefully there. Currently, Nigeria has approximately 5,000 capacity in terms of power generation. Harnessing our gas, we could take that up to 1 million if we have all of the resources to do that.
Okay, now with special reference to the Nigerian liquefied gas train project 7. Now, how can the local content policy be deployed to actualize these targets effectively?
Thank you. It's a good question, and I see this question come up all the time. There is a little to which the regulator of the local content, which is the NCDMB, can do. The bulk of it will rest on the local companies. I think first, the NCDMB is doing that. They are driving initiative to see that local companies develop capacity to take advantage of opportunities, because it doesn't make sense to present the opportunities to local companies and they do not have the capacity. So there are 4 things that indigenous companies must have. One will be the right partnership with foreign companies to transfer knowledge and that builds their capacity to execute this job. The other thing is to develop a robust management system, and in our environment, we have all the ISO 9001, 2015 when it comes to quality policies, and then to develop the capacities of our people. Our people need to be trained, they need to be certified, they need to show where they need to go, and all of this boils down to 2 things, which is leadership and vision. And I think with all of this, the local capacities of our companies can be enhanced.
Okay, let's also not forget that these companies are situated in communities. Now, what's your take on the need to improve relationship between host communities and investors in the oil and gas sector?
In my opinion, I think first, the oil and gas companies need to do a lot in changing some of the narratives that we've had about them, and I see a lot of companies doing that already, in terms of not just doing the physical activities, but trying to chart a new path when it comes to IOCs and host community relationship. But in specific terms, we would want to ask that there should be a way where the communities and these oil and gas companies should sit down to define what should be the pathway for future development of their communities. It's not just building a 6 classroom blocks or asking the host community people to supply labor. They need to define what will be an appropriate roadmap for community development that will go hand in hand with all of these oil companies as they are developing the resources in their lands.
Let's also not forget that it also affects our health. Now, when it comes to health, what is the impact of gas flaring to the health of the people?
There's a whole lot of impacts that we've seen with the flaring of gas. And first, I'll talk about the health implications. We've seen people come up with strange illnesses, particularly around our environment. That needs to be looked at.
And how can it be eliminated?
The straightforward answer is the total stopping of flare, and companies have asked for time to do that. But asking for time is not just enough. There needs to be a time frame upon which flaring of gas must be stopped, and we need to see deliberate, intentional efforts on the part of the producing companies to put an end to flare.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor Oraka. And now we'll pause for commercial break. Panorama continues shortly.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
You're welcome back. And now to COVID-19 update. On the 19th of June 2021, 51 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 were recorded in Nigeria. Until date, 167,206 cases have been confirmed. 163,550 cases discharged, and 2,117 deaths have been recorded so far. The 51 new cases are reported from 5 states, and they include Lagos, 41, Rivers, 5, Gombe, 3, FCT and Akwa Ibom have a case each. Wife of the Cross River State Governor, Dr. Linda Ayade, is suing for behavioral change and adoption of new approaches to national issues in order to restore the peace and dignity of the nation. Dr. Linda Ayade said this at the Cross River State episode of Women Prayer for Peace and Security. Justina Etam was there.
The frightening dimension of insecurity in the country has called for new approaches to nip the menace in the bud. For this, Cross River State women seeking divine intervention is part of the measures that will quell the situation.
There's going to be a turnaround. That is what God designed.
Wife of the Cross River State Governor, Dr. Linda Ayade, says the prayer session is part of steps by the Nigerian Governor's Wives Forum to restore sanity in the country.
Very important that women should come together and cry to the Father when they see that things are going wrong with their children. Women are mothers of the nation. We're also calling on those who take the decisions to please sit down now and take decisions to stem these things, to stop this tide.
Paramount among security issues that the women are seeking God's intervention are problems of kidnapping, sodomy, banditry, and more.
I can assure you that we're going to be seeing so many results of this prayer.
So we're going to be continually do it. It will go a long way to affect or to impact the lives of our national leaders.
It is hopeful that with the supplication of these women, God will restore peace, sanctity for human lives and dignity of the nation. In Calabar, Justina Etam.
And that does it from Port Harcourt Network Center. We thank you so much for being a part of it. Please endeavor to stand with NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Or I hear it. Abuja Intra-Projects Agency.